Hi, everyone. This is Arash Adnani from privateplacements.com. With us again today is Jim Paterson, Chairman and CEO of ValOre Metals, ticker symbol VO on the TSX venture. Jim, thanks for joining us again. It's good to see you.
A true honor and a pleasure, Arash. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Jim, last time we talked, it was at the beginning of the pandemic, okay? And you had some very wise advice for everyone, including myself, which I actually listened to and I followed. And the advice came as an answer to my question, which was, Jim, as an experienced and seasoned investor and thought leader in the market space, what investment strategy should anyone look at or consider or deploy during this time of crisis? And your advice was that, listen, think about a strategy because you got lots of time. Take your time, think about something that makes sense for you. And I want to ask you now, it's been about, I think, 6 weeks, maybe a little bit less, 5 weeks since we last talked. I want to ask you personally, you've had 5 weeks to think about your strategy. What are you thinking about? What have you been doing? And what do you feel comfortable sharing with me and the rest of our audience here?
Well, I think it's all relative, right? Like 6 weeks is actually a long time, but for some people that are longer term investors, maybe they thought I meant 6 months or 6 years in order to
6 weeks is a lifetime.
Yeah, but what I guess my real point was you have time to ask around, get information, and not be rushed into anything. Mm-hmm. And you and I were talking before, and you made a decision, let's say quicker, because you invested in companies you already owned or were already following. So you had the time to think about it. You didn't have to learn something completely new before making a decision. So that helped you make a decision faster, but you probably didn't feel under the gun. You probably felt comfortable with the asset. And I think I did point out that understanding the value over time puts you in a great position because you've been tracking the company or the project for years and years and years. Really helped you understand, like, you're like, oh my goodness, this thing is trading at 50% of the value or 30% down. Right. I like it. I liked it then.
So well.
I liked it then. I like it more now. I can buy more. And in many cases over the last month and a half, man, people have made some pretty good money. It's been pretty good. And I guess the more aggressive some people were, the more they've made. So that's great. So and I don't know whether that is been happening as much with the corporate, with the issuers, if they've been buying other assets at that kind of a rate. But the beauty of discount trading or private placements or just, phoning your broker and the liquidity right now in the market, particularly when you were buying like a month ago or 5 weeks ago, you had no competition for your bid. Your bid was getting hit, I'll bet, and you were buying stock pretty easily, and the liquidity has been really good, and so you could move pretty rapidly.
It's been great, but I need you to honor the question with some actionable advice for our investors. It can be anything. It could be what commodities, what sectors, what type of companies. Give us something that someone can actually listen to and then put to work tomorrow at market open. And don't say buy ValOre. Don't say go buy ValOre. You can actually. You can. The company's been doing really well.
I'm contractually obligated to say that. Go buy or
Other than that.
Well, we were talking before. I think it's a marketplace where people are definitely following precious metals, and palladium and platinum are precious metals, but they're PGs. They're a different, zanier cousin of gold and silver. But for the most part, the golds are moving big time. And we did talk about, my opinion is right now it's a market that people are really following golds, and they are really looking carefully to see that the companies they invest in are actually doing something. They're going to actually accomplish something, and there is some manner of execution, and that they're rewarding them when they come out with good news, either a deal or drill results or whatever. And people aren't in a selling mode, they're kind of in a buying mode, which is rewarding companies for doing things. So I would think that if you wanted a general scope, it's like buy golds and buy things that are either at a resource stage or they're drilling, and so they're going to have lots of results, or maybe they're at a stage where they're going to be moving through milestones in the development process. They're actually going to put a news release out that shows they've been at work, and I think those companies will get rewarded. And there are different types of shareholders for projects at early stage versus development or production, as we also talked about the last time we talked. But they're all active and they're really focused on gold right now. So I think that makes sense to follow those commodities right now. And that will spill over into the other commodities for sure, because, you know, liquidity and price action on the venture exchange begets more.
Okay, so activity, news flow, and really just showing results, right? And I think
the right sector. I think right now it's safest to play golds, and then I think it's then you have to look at those companies and say, are they going to have some form of execution in their plan? Are they going to be able to announce that they've done something that's answered a question or added value or something? And in that case, I think this is the market where they get rewarded. People aren't panicking right now. They're greedy. There's some greed, which is gorgeous, but it's dangerous too. Can't be too greedy.
Right. Greed is gorgeous. I like it.
Greed is gorgeous. I don't know if greed is gorgeous. No, I wouldn't say that. I would disagree with that.
You just said it.
I'm not going to honor that statement.
Okay, well, we got it on tape. Okay,
Fine.
so listen. So obviously activity, that's really important because that also shows that obviously from my experience and yours, I think the management teams that have done well, that have performed, are ones that don't get scared during times like this, and they in fact get more aggressive with activity, and whether it's M&A or drill programs, and you have the ability to also raise money during markets like this, which is really important. I want to talk about your company, ValOre. You guys had some news on Monday. Tell us what happened, and I have some follow-up questions, but just give us an overview. Don't get too technical. Don't put on your geologist hat.
Well, I'm not a geologist, but I'll borrow a hat from another geologist if you'd like me to. I have a 15-minute presentation that's highly technical.
No. Tell us, because it was good news. It was positive news, and the market has reacted well to the news.
Yeah.
So give us a breakdown of what happened.
Yeah. In a nutshell, we announced what we would be doing in terms of exploration on the company's Pedra Branca project, which is a palladium platinum project in northeastern Brazil. So we announced that generally we'd have 2 phases in the drill program, and that the first phase was fully funded to start as soon as safely possible on the project, and we'll be getting after it. And what that means is that we will have, as I talked about before, I was talking my own book, my own game, in that the company will have results. You know, we will be actually moving forward on doing something that will be adding value and delivering results to the marketplace. So up until this point, we were kind of evasive on when we would start and what we would be doing, because we didn't have everything organized with respect to permitting. But now we have clarity on the permitting for the drilling, so then we could get the board approval for the program and the budget, which we did. And then there was a bridge loan, so we wouldn't have to go to market without any clarity. Now we're fully funded for phase 1.
Okay, so this bridge loan that you just mentioned, pretty unique structure. I'll let you explain what it is, but the details are in the press release. But I think it's worth highlighting what allowed this phase 1 program to start, which was this financing, the 1.2 million. Break it down for us. What happened there?
Well, it's not totally unique, and it's not philanthropic, but it's the opposite of predatory in my mind, because I'm a big shareholder and I'm a manager of the company. And one of the things that I don't like doing, like, it's a psychological standoff when you're sitting across.
Hold on, just to be clear, we missed this part. You're providing the credit facility to the company.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. We didn't mention that part.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
please continue.
Yeah. So the worst thing in the world is to be sitting across from somebody and asking them for money, and they know that if they don't give it to you, you will go nowhere. You are stuck in the muck.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like that. That doesn't put the company in a good position. So what we're doing now is we're saying, look, we have phase one funded, and we're going to start. We're going to be drilling, and we'll be looking for financing, but we'll be looking for financing once we're already in the drill program or finish the drill program.
And
with results to
when
come.
does the drill program start?
As soon as possible. I think we need just to be careful in Brazil in that there aren't rules that are inhibiting a whole bunch of movement right now, but because of sort of the federal policies. But we just need to be careful. Fortaleza is a big international city, and that's several hours away from where we base our operations. There isn't widespread COVID there yet, and there may or may not be. But if there is, of course, we have to be careful, and we have to think of the safety of the local population. We don't want to be the cause of anything that's dangerous to the local population. As it stands right now, we're looking at moving some rigs in if we can.
And so let's say all goes according to plan. For investors that are following the story, when could they expect the first round of results?
Probably 2 months after we start. So if we started sometime in June, just wind the clock forward 2 months. And then if we could, that would be a good scenario.
And are there any seasonality challenges with drilling in the northeastern part of Brazil?
No, it's very dry. It's not rainforest at all. It's like Texas ranch land. Okay. You could visualize that, or parts of Spain, let's say, big dry plains, rolling hills. So we just went through the rainy season. We're still sort of in the tail end of it, and it was actually a remarkably good rainy season for the local population. Lots of rain, all the reservoirs are full, everybody's happy. Mm-hmm. And then throughout the year it gets drier and drier and drier. And access is great, but it's not as easy to work in rainy season, although it's totally possible. It just costs more because roads get slippery and the trees get more lush. The foliage gets more lush. It's easier to work when it's dry and easy access.
So I was watching the stock chart, and there's about a 50% increase in share price from the beginning of the month until now. It was around 20 cents. It's up to 29 right now. Is that solely a reaction to this news release, or is it also just people freaking out less and just realizing, okay, you know what, everything's back to normal. Let's start buying the deals that we like and the teams that we believe in? What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that the bottom of the pricing was about 14 cents a share. It came from 38 in January and went down to 14, and that was just total overreaction by one or two shareholders, probably, because they're just, in times of huge uncertainty, a lot of people pull their bids. And so if you're a desperate seller, you're going to sell it right down to almost nothing. And that's what happened. And then people look at that and go, oh, geez, that's kind of crazy. What just happened there? And you have to kind of rebuild your market again. So we've done that. And then we announced the news, which is good. People were really waiting for this news. And in fact, some people were getting quite impatient. And my personal opinion is, like, with a company like ours starting a program down there, you don't want to rush into it. So I don't care if somebody says, I need immediate drill results. I just bought, 10,000 shares of your company, and I have no delayed gratification. I would rather take my time and do it right and not get offside with regulators or piss off the local population. Do it right. That's much better for the longer term. So we took longer than we'd hoped, and certainly some people were getting frustrated for sure. And now we're good. We've announced it. We're clear on our program. We're clear on our timing, and we're funded to get rocking.
Okay. So next question. This is a very important question. Okay. After our last interview, I had a conversation with Chris Taylor from Great Bear, and he got me all excited. So
he's excited.
He's excited. Yeah. But what I realized is that, it's kind of like a Discovery Group thing. Discovery Group, there's just a lot going on. Bluestone's doing really well. It's just exciting times, but I always kind of miss the boat on the Discovery Group deals, right? And it's just frustrating for me. And full disclosure, I'm not a ValOre shareholder, okay? And I'm sorry, I love you, but I'm not a shareholder. However,
I just crossed you off my Christmas list.
However,
Yes.
I don't want to miss the boat again. For someone like me, who I'm not a technical investor from a standpoint of, I don't look at drill results and say, oh, this is great. I think more just as a business at a high level, as is this a good team? Are they in the right market? Have they had success in the past? And when I look at those things, you check all the boxes, right? So as someone like myself who's interested, flirting with the idea, what would you say are reasons or selling points, whatever you want to call it, highlights why someone should start buying ValOre now? Is now the time, and why?
And I'm totally biased, but absolutely, I'm long. I'm a big shareholder. I just did something that I thought would maintain the value of the company or improve the value of the company in the form of the bridge loan. And I do
I
believe
think that is unique. You said it's not, but I don't see it.
It is. No, it's no. It is unique. What's unique about it is that there aren't onerous bonus warrants or things like that are basically your attitude towards this type of thing is different if you're a big shareholder. If you're a predatory lender, you want to lend the money and you want to get as many warrants as you can. You want your money back and you want to flame the stock. You don't care. It's just almost like an additional interest rate.
Okay, so other than
charging in this case, no.
So other than the CEO being a big believer and putting his money where his mouth is, what are some other reasons?
Well, back to what I said, I believe that the mindset of the marketplace is very open to precious metals and metals in general, but precious metals. The market is really open to rewarding companies for news flow, positive news flow, or executing. And in the case of ValOre, we've now got a situation where we've got a very clear plan, and we've got the finances to execute the first phase of that plan, which is results. We can execute. We can deliver results to the marketplace. So that's why I would say that that's a good reason to buy the stock. It's not holding on for a brighter day when something turns around that's outside of our control. We're actually in control here of executing.
You control your destiny and your shareholder.
We're captains of our own ship.
Is this going to be exit number 5 for you?
That's what I'm shooting for.
I love it. Okay, so Jim.
Yes.
You're all the way out in South Carolina, Fort Mill.
Yes.
Right? There's this. I'm in Vancouver. Lots of distance between us, but there's this push right now in the U.S. and Canada, overseas, to reopen the economy, reopen some businesses, and do it slowly and responsibly. It seems like a bad idea to me, but I understand it. What are your thoughts, and what do you think how will that impact the market? Do you think that with businesses opening, gold's going to pull back, or do you think it's just going to be further proof that, okay, no, gold's here to stay because there's going to be a second wave of outbreak?
I listened to I listened to a really good interview by Rick Rule recently, and it was so cool how he described it, and I hope I get it right. It isn't because of the market crash that gold rocks. If I can paraphrase, it's the policies that are set to deal with the crash that cause gold to go up. And when he said that, I went, wow, that if I'd known that in 2008, I'd be a very wealthy man right now, because I just thought, why isn't gold rocking right now in response to the crash? No, it's everybody crashes. The market crashes, everybody panics, doesn't know what the hell to do. And then the governments are almost given the authority to be reckless with their currencies and their money printing. And once they become reckless, you give the drunks a key to the bar and say, have a good time, and they'll drink. And that's what they're doing. They're printing. And that's why gold goes up. It's not because of necessarily the crash, because when the crash, so it's a slight difference. It's a nuance, but it's very important
Isn't
because
the
you just
idea
have to be patient.
But isn't the idea to reopen the economy so they can slow down the printing? That's what I meant. Like, if they're slowing that down, wouldn't that cause a pullback with gold?
No, because the programs, particularly in the United States, where basically when this is all happening, it was, the economy is shutting down. So all the businesses were applying for the free money, the loans that would be forgiven. So individuals were expecting a check in the mail. Businesses were applying through the major banks for loans that effectively were given to companies preferentially for some reasons or another. And then they would not have to pay back if they fulfilled certain things. Their loan would be forgiven. So free money to the businesses. So where's the money coming from? Because the government doesn't do anything in terms of generating money. So it's just literally fabricated, printed. So
it's just the government's making it rain like this.
Yep, because their buddies in the back going, he's taking it and going like this, but it's not, it isn't, there's no value being created, really. It's just money being printed. So, but you're asking a whole bunch of different questions. The printing of the money is totally different. I think I'm not sure how it is related, but reopening the economy, in my mind, is critical safely. It is, because you and I are white collar. We have laptops with great internet connections and jobs where we can have Zoom meetings. And a lot of the investors that watch you are the same. But in Fort Mill, where I am, I've gone out and tried to deliver food and clothes because I have a truck to try to help people, because I know people are in trouble. And there's a lot of people that are still working, and they don't have the luxury, and they're scared as shit because they are also watching what we're watching, but they don't get to hole up in their home and watch YouTube. They actually have to go out and work, and they're interacting with a lot of different people, and a lot of those people at the end of the month, if their company says, you know what, we're not going to have you back at the first of the month again, they're screwed. And I will tell you that it is my opinion that the health risks associated with massive poverty are also very dire. And it would just hit a different demographic for sure, but it would be nasty. There'd be major health issues related to widespread poverty. So there are major benefits from to make sure that people are generating income and can eat healthy food, and can turn their heat on, and are out and being active. So yes, I completely think the economy should be opened up, and I think people should be acting safely, of course. But I don't even now, 6 weeks in, completely understand what safe is.
I don't think anyone does.
But that to me, that's insane.
Yeah. But you can just see it when you go out. You have the people that wear masks and they're in full hazard suits, and then there's people that are just acting normal. But anyhow, listen, we're going to talk again in 4 to 5 weeks. Okay. And we're either going to be in a restarted economy or continued quarantine, which means both of us will have longer hair, and we'll have lots more to talk about. Jim,
I'm going to have just longer hair, only at the back though.
Hey, got to do what you got to do, man. I respect that. Jim, thanks for joining me. It was always a pleasure to have you on here and share your wisdom with us. Look forward to the next time we connect, and congratulations on the news this Monday, and good luck with the drill program. Look forward to seeing the results.
Thank you, Arash. Stay safe and healthy.
You too. Bye.